All Three Beards Media podcasts originate from the Gravitate Co-working Studio, sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company.
Good evening, everybody. This is In the Side of the Storm. I am hosting in replacement of Dave Larson because he's stuck at some cheerleading competition with his kid. We'll get to that in a second. We'll make fun of him for that in a second. But super excited. Marcus, big play. What's up, guys?
What up?
Man, trying to get over this second half of this COVID, man. Midweek it really knocked me out again.
Man,
I had to get some re-up on some different antibiotics and things, and this has gotten me a little bit better the last couple of days. But man, Tuesday night, Wednesday, like me and my wife did nothing for Valentine's. I was just on the bed all day long, just laid out because I thought I was better, but apparently I wasn't. So I'm a lot better now. So
that sounds like a typical night at my house. Anyways, Valentine's Day, we laid on the couch and watched an old episode of Big Brother. I think that's what we did. All right. So before
how many other dudes make up sicknesses? Not you didn't, Marcus. I 1,000% believe you. How many dudes be making up like, oh baby, I'm sick because they forgot. They forgot to play on Valentine's Day because that's a good get out of jail free card there.
That's right. I got COVID. I got COVID. We need to isolate. So before we hopped on, we were making fun of Tyrese Halliburton's jacket. I found a better picture.
Oh my goodness!
So I'll hold it up here, but you can see he's got the shit at the bottom of his jacket too, and it's all the way down past his knees.
That's like Oscar the Grouch.
That's Oscar the Grouch.
From the Sesame Street. It's like Oscar the Grouch sleeves, man. That is awful. I mean, hey, to each their own, but I can't get jiggy with that.
It looked like a nice suit that somebody just literally put some kind of fur on it. Like I don't get it.
So let's cut some shit off and throw it on.
I mean, that literally looks like in the old days when your parents used to have like the stuff around the toilet, the little fuzzy rug.
Yes,
man,
that's what that looks like.
It does. Yeah,
they just strapped it to his coat. Like, come on, Tyrese, you're an all-star. You can get better than that.
Man, if he would just left it on the arms, probably would have been better. But that bottom part, like I know he feel it like grabbing on his on his thighs when he walks. Like, that's weird to me, man.
Oh.
But hey, we love young fella though.
That's right. Yeah, you know what? Hell yeah, a starter for the All-Star team in his own stadium. That's a hell of a deal, and a Cyclone to boot. So I mean, it's hell of a week. Brock starts the Super Bowl. Tyrese starting the All-Star game. That's crazy. And I was talking about it to Marcus beforehand. I caught a glimpse of the dunk contest and the 3-point yesterday, and I was like, I've passed the threshold of old because that LED lit up fucking floor was too much for me. I couldn't do it. It was terrible.
Yeah, this is the first time they came with that. The first time they came with it, I guess the tournament, the playing tournament floors were so bright. Somebody said to them, "Well, let's try LED to, and again, you get to put more advertisement, more ads.
That's
You have to understand why things have gotten so bad. I guess you were saying so many different leagues because the money, they're trying to be able to get everybody in.
Yeah.
We were on the freeway the other day and we saw a billboard and like 10 seconds later or whatever, 5 seconds it changed. I'm always like, why change so fast? Because it's not the stationary one billboard. Now they can get 100 companies in, an hour. And so it's about flipping, especially in Vegas. And that's how they're doing here. They know everybody is watching. They know a lot of people are there. And that's the main objective.
That's it.
Yep.
It's about money, man.
That's right. All right. So let's talk a little bit of Super Bowl real quick. Brock held his own, I think.
Of course.
Initial thoughts, Brent, on the game and how that ended. Overtime specifically, you got to know the rules, right?
1,000%, man. There's no way I'm letting Patrick Mahomes get the ball second. Like I got to put pressure on him right now. Like trust my defense. Give me a stop. At least give me a chance. Because even if they do score a touchdown, I know we can score a touchdown and go for a 2-point conversion and win the game. Like that's just simple. Because as soon as they did, I was like, oh shit, that's it. It's over with. Because there's no way they were going to win letting him get the ball second. Because whatever needed to happen, he was going to get done. And you can't leave that up to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes because they'll beat you every time. But other than that, I thought Brock played a great game, in my opinion. I mean, great game manager. They ran the hell out of Christian McCaffrey. But aside of that, I mean, hate that for the kid, but
did they
good
go
for him, man.
Second half? I think he got 2 carries in the second half.
Yeah, no, he was, and that's because they used him so much the first half.
Yeah,
I think they kind of went away from it. He was so, I mean, you could see him like gassed as shit. You know what I'm saying? Carrying the rock, but that was just a little too much, too often. I think with him, I think they could have did that same amount of damage over time. You know what I mean? Keep him a little bit fresher, but Shanahan had an idea. Just kind of went with it, and Greenlaw going down just hurt everything.
That's that. I'll let you jump in, Marcus. I think that was the biggest thing for me in the second half because they were stopping them in the first half, and man, what a freak injury of just running onto the field and tears his ACL, and that guy he's
his Achilles.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, those type games they had been out for for at least a week or two. The practice isn't as locked in as focused as it would be during the regular season. Because you have to preserve your energy and things like that. But when you come out in the game like that, you're so charged. What are you going to tell Christian McCaffrey? No, if you're ready, he's sparked and you're ready to go. And then, you have such high energy. And then it wasn't like it was a high scoring affair in the first half. We was like, man, I was looking at this game like, and I was expecting them to be able to move the ball. But, two great defenses playing against each other. We definitely love Brock 100%. But, man, like the only person, and I told a lot of people, the only person that I would have felt comfortable against Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl is the only person that's beat him in the Super Bowl. And that was Tom Brady. I mean, it's just, he's in that space. And with the defenses that they had, Brock did a hell of a job, keeping that game close and scoring and doing the things that they needed to get to overtime. But, man, like you said, those rules, when you don't know those rules, when they did not score enough to put them ahead to where if they scored, got the ball back, and you didn't know that they got the ball back, when I said, oh, my goodness, that's it. And so I got off the couch, got into my chair, and got closer to the TV. And my wife was like, what you doing? I was like, man, I'm nervous. It's Pat Mahomes. I know it doesn't matter, like, how many inches, like, up and back or whatever, then it's going to be a 20-yard pass on 4th and 17, and then they're going to – and right in that little corner, I was like, oh, man, that's ball game.
I told Stacy when we were watching it, I was like, this might be the nervous I've been for a Cyclone or a Bears game. Like I was that sick to my stomach watching Pat Mahomes just drive down and drive down.
He can't stop it.
No,
can't stop it.
But that's why you love the game.
Yeah,
shit like that. That's what draws people in, man.
Gosh, I mean, the football mind of Andy Reid and just the sheer playmaking ability of Mahomes to find anybody is you just can't stop it. And then on defense, you lose one of your key contributors with Greenlaw. You there's nobody to cover Kelsey now, so you can do whatever you want. So that's why I was like, oh shit, that's it.
When he rolled,
the young guy did good, but
when he rolled right that fast, I said somebody over there, what? Why the fuck over?
Yeah,
it was like one of those ones like when you almost nervous to even make the pass because it's like, you know, like that ball probably didn't have hardly any spin on it or nothing. Just probably just wobble, just catch this. Man. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Man. But when he got over there, I was like, that's it.
Andy Reid, the best coach in the NFL.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, right now, I'd have to give it to him.
I mean, that's back to back.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's got to hold a title. I mean, you know, key situations when you need it. That's a guy you can't really bet against. You know what I'm saying? So
I think he is. And this is controversial, but I think he's better than Belichick, and I'll tell you why. He made several conference championships in the NFC with the Eagles with Donovan McNabb. He had winning seasons in Kansas City with Alex Smith and went to the playoffs, and is now obviously got one of the greats in Patrick Mahomes. But to be that successful over that time span with the changes in football and with different quarterbacks, and Belichick's got one guy who is arguably the greatest to ever play it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the 2 years that he didn't have that guy was not good.
All right. Yeah, for sure.
And the time that he had in Cleveland was not good.
I don't even remember that time.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I'm older than you, Marcus. I remember that. You know, that staff in Cleveland, that was loaded.
Yeah.
Because that had him, that had Nick Saban.
Nick Saban was there. Yeah, I heard.
Parents, Jim Schwartz, who was a big-time defensive coach. That staff was loaded. So, all right, let's talk about basketball. Did you guys watch any of the games? What?
So don't sound so excited.
I'm not sure if you watched the game or not. I don't know if you were asleep or not, Brent.
I mean, there's a good chance. I didn't. I definitely didn't. I mean, it's okay. Marcus is the basketball guru. So
that's all right. I got questions anyways.
I definitely watched it.
All right, so I'm trying to think. They played. I have my notes here. Fuck, shit. I'm totally unprepared. They played Cincinnati on Tuesday at Cincinnati. Probably the first real tough road game that they went on and won. Other than Kansas, I guess. They played Kansas on the road too. No, they played Kansas at home.
Played Kansas at home.
Yeah, so Cincinnati, that's kind of a tough place to play on the road. And they just got ranked in the top 12, so that was their top 10. That was a little bit of pressure too.
Well, yeah, like you say, Cincinnati always is strong at home, and new to the Big 12, you want to make that statement. Even if you win or lose, you still have to make that statement to show that you're there, that you're going to be here. And we always know, road games in the Big 12 is always going to be hard to get. To get those are definitely ones that we welcome, and to get that one was really big. I mean, we're playing really, really good right now. It kind of makes me nervous, but to be where we're sitting right now is a good feeling for sure.
1,000%.
So the narrative the last few weeks have been that TJ's been pretty even keeled. I think the opposing coach has gotten a technical called on them in the last 6 games against us. Do you think that coaches are able to manipulate those types of calls or refs in a certain way, because the narrative out there is that TJ being calm and cool and whatever is getting away with more now because he doesn't overreact to that.
Is getting away with what?
The opposing coaches, I think, are getting teed up more and so on. TJ doesn't really react to much, so the refs maybe on the court allow a little bit more on our guys than they do theirs.
Well, I don't necessarily, know if that's the case. I mean, for players or coaches alike, like technicals comes from the reaction of the individual. And I mean, if he's more even keel now, he understands that this may be hurting my team, because personally, I mean, when we saw Coach Eustace get in this realm, it kind of got us charged up to get in the realm with him. So if he was a little bit more cooler, then maybe we feel like, we should be a little bit more cooler. So maybe the players, see that, and maybe he see that if he got a technical, that gets them to being a little bit too erratic. So, kudos to him to changing, that coaching strategy. And we're winning. If we're winning and, top of the Big 12, why do something to jeopardize that or put us in a worse position? I mean, it's working, it's not broken. So leave it as it is. That's not why we're winning.
You got to do better, man.
Right.
Yep.
Excuse me.
So they played Cincinnati. They played Texas Tech yesterday. Big game Monday night. Marcus, you ever play in a big Monday game?
I don't even know. I mean, of course, I've played in some big games, but during this time, these games run into each other so much. I literally didn't know when we play. You just let me know when the game is and when to show up. It don't matter what day it was.
That's it.
Okay.
What day it was.
So let me ask it this way then. They've got a big, huge road game, number 2 in the country.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
So I'll start with you, Brent. Biggest on the road game that you had to go to that was a big road game with a lot at stake. I mean, Iowa State's sitting there. They're tied for first place in the Big 12. You look at their remaining schedule. They win tomorrow night. They can run the table and lock up the Big 12 title.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
I mean, shit, I don't know. I can't think of a big road game for me at all. I don't know, man. Because I got up for different games, what I'm saying? I got up for games differently than a lot of people. Like the stuff that motivated me was to be back home, to be in front of people that I knew, what I'm saying, were going to be at those games, playing against Texas A&M, any Texas school in general, because I felt slighted. So for those are all big games for me. But there was times where guys were like, "Oh shit, we're gonna play Texas." Mm-hmm. Give a fuck who they are. Like, they put their pants on the same way we put our pants on. You know what I'm saying? So why does it matter? But going to Iowa, I think maybe I got hurt in 2005. So I think it was 2005, maybe 2004. Sorry, 2004. I had to see them shitty pink locker rooms, and I got high-low. That was like a big road game. But I mean, man, I don't know, man. Texas is big for me.
From a fan's perspective, I would think that, okay, it's a big game. You guys are a little bit more ramped up. But your point is that some of that shit doesn't matter. You can't. As an athlete,
personally, I think we all have our own motivations. You know what I'm saying? And I think it depends on the person. If there was a lot of chatter in the paper, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Like we saw a lot of talk, that would get us kind of amped up. But if I'm being honest, my first couple of years we sucked. Like my first year we sucked. And the second year we were rebuilding, right? Started getting some wins and stuff like that. So we didn't really see a ton of success until my third year, like my junior year. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't get hyped for games. We was trying to let's fucking win. Like we got to find. We were like every week it's 1-0. We got to go 1-0. Like that's all that matters. So didn't matter if it was at home or away.
What about you, Marcus?
Definitely Kansas. The first win that we won in over 50 years down in Lawrence. But just like B said, like to me, and this is not no kind of arrogant. I know what kind of team we had. We wasn't losing that game. Period, point blank. That was a focused game that I knew going to be a focused game. And like I've watched, different highlights or sometimes that people put up different stuff or whatever. And I remember in the second half, like I got a dunk and it was like my 6th or 8th point, and it was in the second half. And, by halftime, I at least would have 10 points. But it was like that game to where I wasn't focusing on the number of dunks to get. I assumed I wasn't going to be able to get many with 6'10", Drew Gooden and, Nick Collison and Eric Chenoweth, 7 foot there. So it's just focused on winning the game. And I just remember in the second half, like how concentrative that game was. And the guys that I had with me, Jamal and Kentrell, the way they play defense, I knew it was going to change, in that game if we kept it close, and we did. So for me, the road games were more exciting for me because I had to concentrate more. When you're at home, you're playing defense in front of home crowd. We might come out and Mike Nurse might shoot the first 17 shots. We just know that's how it's going to be. So, but on the road, it's a little bit more concentrated. It's a bigger concentration for the whole club. So to me, those games were more important, and I got up for those more than and then quiet in the crowd, not hearing, Kansas sing the Rock Chalk song, was my goal. And that, that didn't happen. Even my freshman year when we lost in Lawrence, it was a close game. Somehow with Ray LaFrance and Paul Pierce and those guys there, we still kept it close. We ended up losing. So they got to sing the song a little bit at the end of the game, but it wasn't those type where at the beginning of the second half you're getting blown out and they sing it for the rest of the game. So that to me is probably was Kansas.
So then there was a question floating around on Twitter today. I think Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic put it out there. Biggest road game for Cyclones this late in the season since when? And a lot of people said in 2000 against Texas when you played at Texas. That's probably the last time that there was this big of a game.
No. We didn't play Texas in 2000 at Texas.
Okay.
We got them at home that year. Because
you were at home when you dunked on Mim, right? That was a home game. Okay.
So because we got them the year before on the road, so the next year they come, it's the one game at home. So by the look of the draw, we got Oklahoma. No, we got Oklahoma on the road, but we got Oklahoma State and Texas at home, and it was us 3-4 just tied for the top, and then we got Oklahoma State and Texas at home. So we didn't get them on the road. We got Kansas on the road that year though.
Interesting. That's crazy. What are they going to do to win? Well, let me ask you this. So, and this is for both of you. You have a big game like this, and shit starts to go south in a hurry. What do you do? I mean, where are you going with that?
Well, it's NCAA, so it's going to go south because, you have to understand, like, the collegiate game, and it's no disrespect, but you have some pros and then you have some kids who don't know how to play ball. Mm-hmm. So, it's not like the pros where we're all pros and like your job and just sometimes you fuck up. But in college, you have some kids that are coming in that don't know how to play ball, and you do have some pros. So it's going to be up and down. We're going to be, here in Vegas, they love the point spread to where, especially a college basketball game, is they're up 20. Oh, those numbers are going to run up high because now they can entice people in with the plus minus because they know they're going to make a run at the end, or more than likely they're going to make a run at the end. And the flip side can be the University of UConn playing the number one team, University of UConn playing the number 4 team, Marquette, and Marquette lose by 30. Like, so something's not right. Either Marquette is not number 4 or UConn is not number 1. Something ain't right because it should be a closer, but maybe Marquette has a few pros on the team who has done well and have some kids on the team that really don't know how to play. When a big game like that, they can't bridge the gap. So in the collegiate sport, you can never really tell. You just got to sit there and watch the game and just like watching the Texas Tech game the other day. We were up, big, and then I looked up, we're up like 10, and I'm like, here we go. But
Yeah,
that's how it goes. Oh, wow.
What about you, Brent? What's your mindset, Brent, when it starts to go south?
I mean, just got to regroup, man. I mean, I was more of a cerebral player anyway, and I like to talk me a little shit here and there. So if it took me getting in somebody's head to spark something, I always talk about the momentum train, and once that some bitch gets to rolling, it's hard to stop it. So
hard to stop.
It's like, man. So it's like, you try to recreate something, and for me, it was like if I had a chance to do anything. Shit, I don't care if it might have been after the play to, mess with somebody's head, just piss them off, what I'm saying? Swing on me, do something, yeah, because your mom snuck in my hotel room last night. That's what get in a guy's head, what I'm saying, that type of thing. But I mean, it's one of those you just try to, turn the tide however you can, man. But at the end of the day, it's just one play at a time. Just gotta get guys to calm down and lock back in.
Yeah, but this game really scares me because Coach Sampson, he's been a pillar.
I hate that guy.
He's been a pillar in collegiate basketball for years, and definitely in the Big 12. When I was in school, and he's a great coach. He really put some hard-nosed guys out there on the floor, and they play the right way. They play strong. They play tough. One of my ex pro teammates' son plays for Houston Sharp. So, he's a lot like his dad, hard-nosed, grind it out, gritty, strong, and tough. And on that road, that's one that I'm really, really concerned about.
And my hometown going to be kind of live for that game, too.
Oh, they're going to be real tough.
Yeah.
Well, and they're going to be looking for some payback because they came in here
for sure.
and they got handled up here.
Mm-hmm.
They got handled up here before. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll wrap up a little bit about tomorrow's game, and then I'm going to look at the schedule and get your guys' idea of what the end of the season is going to look like, and then maybe some seating. I'm going to talk about that screenshot that I sent you guys yesterday, which is a bunch of bullshit. So, all right, let's get a word from Revelton and from Gravitate Co-working. We'll be right back.
Why take the best corn in the world and make it into fuel when you could make it into whiskey? That's the question that launched Revelton, Iowa's most visible and fastest growing distillery. Owners Rob and Christy Taylor embrace the grain-to-glass philosophy, sourcing ingredients locally and overseeing on-premises production and bottling at their facility in Osceola. One sip, and you'll agree that Revelton's handcrafted whiskeys, gins, and vodkas are the best you've ever tasted. And with the launch of their rye whiskey, made with 100% Iowa-grown rye and corn, and their new bourbon coming soon, there's more Revelton to love than ever. Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. The great thing about working from home is working from home. The worst thing is working from home, especially for face-to-face collaborations with customers and coworkers. And let's face it, coffee shop meetings are neither private nor professional. So skip the trip to Starbs and investigate Gravitate Co-working Space. For more than 10 years, Gravitate has provided large and small office and conference spaces perfect for hosting meetings, workshops, or other events, as well as private phone booths for confidential conversations. Plus, all spaces include secure fiber internet, free coffee, and access to a kitchenette. All you need is your laptop. Gravitate does the rest. And renting space at Gravitate is surprisingly affordable. An hour of office space costs about the same as venti caramel macchiatos and breakfast sandwiches for two. Daily and monthly rates are also available with no long-term commitment. Learn more at gravitatecoworking.com. That's gravitatecoworking.com.
All right, and we're back. We really appreciate our sponsors around here. Two things, speaking of which, of great things, Brent, I saw that you posted a photo of two new kolaches that are going to cost me a lot of money. And why don't you tell everybody about those?
It's a good old-fashioned buffalo chicken kolache. It kind of reminds you of wings, but it's just wings and my sweet bread and a little bit of pepperoni mozzarella, man. It's like pizza on sweet dough. So it's fire. I had too many of them this past weekend. No spice for you, Marcus. We sorry. Yeah, no spice. Good to go. Keep it easy.
And
Trying to
where
keep it easy.
are you serving those just for lunch, or what's the deal with those?
Yeah, it's primarily lunch. I mean, not too many people want to get their morning started that way, but I usually shoot them off around 10 o'clock or so. I mean, listen.
It's a brunch.
There's not a time in the day that I wouldn't eat them. Not gonna
That's
lie
right.
to you, but
and where
try
they
to have it ready for that afternoon.
Tell everybody where you're at and what your hours are.
Oh yeah. So if you're in the Des Moines area or Urbandale area, 2777 100th Street in Urbandale, open 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday 7 a.m. to 2.
Boom. There you go. Also, the halftime score of the All-Star game is 104-89. That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous, right? That's so stupid. Mm-hmm. Halliburton's got 18 points. Lillard's going to steal the MVP from him. He's got 22.
Right. That's trash. He had 15 in the first 10 seconds. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Ty.
Right. Dame was hitting logo threes, though, so it wasn't a whole lot. Man, a whole lot to talk and do. He got
I would have checked myself back in, man. Like, come on, man. I've been stalling him out.
Maybe he had a wardrobe change. Maybe he had a wardrobe change at halftime. He had to go his Big Bird
monster outfit on.
Changing into his Big Bird outfit at half. All right. We have, after the Houston game, they have 2 at home, 2 on the road, and then it's Big 12 tourney time. So how do you change the mindset? You end that regular season and you have to instantly go into tournament time mode. What's the difference? What are you doing different?
I don't think there's a mindset to change. Like, it's still the Big 12. So keeping that same mentality that you've had success with to go down to that tournament, because we know, I mean, we've, benefit from, not having a strong season and going down there and winning that tournament, and then things turn around. So we know how important it is to be down there. So keep that same mentality. Keep that, the exact same thing that you've been doing in practice. It's not the time to take your foot off the gas pedal. March is right around the corner, and if you're going to march into it strong, you have to keep that mentality that you've had all season long to have the success.
Yeah, I agree, man. Can't change it up. I mean, it's brought you so much success during the season. You're playing the same guys, right? But obviously these are your win or go home. So it's, you lock in a little bit more on a neutral playing space. But it's time to turn up, make our way on into this tournament.
Well, so to the last projections that CBS had, they had Iowa State at a 3 seed. They had Kansas and North Carolina as a 2. Kansas we beat. They're below us in the standings. It's just name, right? It's name recognition only, right? It's bullshit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's causing a little controversy right now because we hadn't gotten there. I mean, we're already talking about it. So, of course, that's what they want to, drum up. Worst case scenario, if something happens and Kansas loses more games, then it's easier to drop them down. But not to have them there in the beginning is almost like blasphemy for them. So our schedule looks, this Houston game is a Houston game. But, I mean, we owe Oklahoma, UCF. Yep. It's going to be a pretty tough one on the road, but I think we can get that. We definitely owe BYU. Definitely owe them ass whooping big time. Yeah. And that Kansas State one to end it, with coach down there that's going to be a fun one too. That's going to be a nice one.
Those guys are in shambles, though. I mean, I think we broke them. They've been absolutely disastrous since they lost that game here.
That's K-State on their road, though. See, you don't want to get to that last game and some wacky stuff has happened, and now we all sitting together and we need that one. That's K-State. I hate it down there in Manhattan, man. It's just I'd never left that place without a busted lip or eye or something.
No, shut up.
Never. Like it's just that mentality that they have. It's already not Kansas, so they feel like we got a lot to prove, and then they had some tough players down there. I remember Manny Dies when my freshman year. Like Manny was a load to deal with, down in Kansas State. So. That's big time.
The Oklahoma game, we like you said, we owe them. I don't see UCF. That might be a trip-up game. That's a long ways down there, man, for a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they overlook them. I could see them maybe stubbing their toe. And I think Kansas lost down there. Kansas can't win on the road right now anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But it'll be interesting. It'll be a fun time. Tomorrow night, they're just going to beat the piss out of each other, right? Like that's all that game's going to be, right? Like there's no finesse in that game tomorrow night.
Can't be. It cannot be. It's going to have to be, like I said, the Kansas game. You're going to have to focus, the whole entire game. And the mentality is to go out there to play sound, keep it close and win, not to go out and to prove we're better than. Hopefully their mentality isn't just, to prove we're top of the league and we're better. Like you have to really, really focus. Once we beat Oklahoma State, and then who's next? Okay, Texas coming in next. Once we beat them, who's next? Like that's the mentality to have success. Not, oh yeah, we're number one, number two. Like they told me that week, okay, we're tied. We're in a three-way tie with, this team and that team. So when do we play them? Marcus, we play them next. Oh shit, bring them in. It doesn't matter. That's the focus that you got to have to, get to the end game, which is, the trophy at the end of the tournament, end of the, NCAA tournament. And that's just the mentality that I had at that moment.
So it's 8:00 tomorrow night. Where are you guys watching the game at?
Houston times. So that's 6.
Marcus trying to do the math. What time?
I'm just trying to see if the kids being home and stuff like that, possibly home, or maybe, if I'm out on my phone or whatever, I got Hulu. I just turn it on my phone.
Hulu has live sports.
Yeah,
I'll be at the crib right here. Posted up. Stop sign.
Cool.
But at any rate, like if for whatever reason it gets out of control for us, and it's not going to be anything to that it looks like we can come back within, just go ahead and call it and live another day and make it up in against West Virginia the next week, because that's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a real tough game.
Well, I think Taman Litzy is obviously the key to any of those games, but if he's not on, Keyshawn is I feel like he can step right in and take over a game.
He's proven it.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, and that game against Texas Tech, I tell you, these are my babies from Vegas.
Because you knew 2 of the other guys on Texas Tech, right? You coached them.
Yeah, I coached against Darren William. He went to Bishop Gorman, and Pop Isaacs. I coached him in high school, so I know his tenacity and his toughness and things like that. And I've coached against Keyshawn, like I said, for years, and Bishop Gorman, everybody knows that school, private, school that always wins championships and things like that. Coronado is the school that Marcus Jr. and Pop Isaacs went to, which is like Gorman, but it's a public school. And the school that Keyshawn went to was Durango, which isn't, as prestigious as those two, but have some real tough-nosed, hard-playing kids. Matter of fact, they won the state championship last year. That school did. Against, the other schools, because they had some good guys that, wanted to play hard and Liberty won the year before, and then Durango won last year. So they've been competing against the big schools like Bishop Gorman and Coronado. So I knew when he came out against those guys, he was going to want to have a big showing, because they played AAU against each other for years in high school basketball. So it was good to watch him, have some success and, us get that victory for sure.
Well, they're favored by 10. I don't see them losing by
Houston?
More than 10. Houston is favored by 10.
Whoa. That's a little disrespectful.
That is.
Right?
Yeah. Disrespectful. I'm putting that shit on the wall the whole week. Favored by 10?
Whoa,
yep.
That's a little disrespectful.
I'll double check. But I'm almost sure that's what I read today.
What I said. If for whatever reason it gets out of control, Come on now, that's a little disrespectful.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, hold on. I'm looking. This is terrible radio. Keep talking.
That's a little disrespectful.
I'm terrible at this. Let's see. Hold on. I'm almost there to the 8 o'clock games.
What are you looking on?
DraftKings. It's now dropped to 9 and it's now dropped to 9. Houston is favored by 9.
Wow, now they're trying to bait you a little bit more.
And tomorrow they'll release what the money line odds are, but it might be plus 600. So, yeah, that's. I mean, they are not. They're not showing them any respect. That's for damn. 9 points. Man. So, all right, guys, this has been fun. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is why Dave's in charge. I'm terrible at this. So,
it is what it is.
All right.
Next man up. That's
right. That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Check out Revelton's products and their Saturday series. They've got music down there, things like that. If you're working from home and you hate working in your home like I used to, check out Gravitate Co-working. I don't need them anymore because I have a new job and I'm in an office. And it's glorious and I'm super happy. So, and I'm 10 minutes closer to Brent for lunch. I can go grab one of those pizza kolaches. So
come on through, baby.
All right, guys. We appreciate everybody. We'll see you next Monday. Have a great night.